I feel so incredibly privileged to have rescued so many cameras. And this camera is one of the special ones. Now, I treasure these cameras and really care about where they go after my time with them. This is a unique Mitchell Motion Picture Studio camera. Most Mitchell cameras were government cameras and never worked the movies. So don't be fooled by government weapons testing cameras. They look like movie cameras, but are certainly not the same. You see them on display, but they really don't have much to say. This camera was originally purchased in 1936 by Faxon Dean. He was the director of photography on over 50 movies. Faxon shot the original Braveheart in 1925. And the same year, he shot the original Lord Jim. Now, he recognized a shortage of cameras at all of the Hollywood motion picture studios at the height of the Depression, and at enormous risk to himself, he started the first modern movie camera rental business in Hollywood. This camera worked at all of the famous studios and worked hundreds of movies. If this camera could talk, it certainly would have lots of stories to tell. This is Mitchell camera serial number NC73. It's quite rare in that it still has all matching serial numbers. Like a classic car, it's important that all the parts are still original. It's set up on an Akeley gyro head and would be used to follow action. Because Douglas Fairbanks' movies were so action-packed, his cameraman would have set up cameras this way. It's a Mickey Mouse ear camera and is very popular as a gift for home theaters, executive boardrooms, and reception areas. Watch my other Mitchell camera videos to see why there are so few original Mitchells left. Now, this camera was designed and manufactured with sound movies in mind. Mitchell camera set the making of sound movies on its foundation. In 2016, one of the last Mitchell machinists, Richard Bennett, serviced and adjusted this camera. It's 80 years old and will shoot today. Starting in 1931, the U.S. government started buying Mitchell cameras, and they bought nearly the entire production run of Mitchell Standards, NCs, and GCs for more than the next 40 years. They bought more than 1,400 of them. Almost all Mitchell Standard, NC, and GC cameras became U.S. government property. Mitchell became almost exclusively a government camera supplier after 1931. Even if they survived, government cameras never worked the movies. This camera worked in the motion picture industry for its entire life. Mitchell cameras that actually worked the movies are very rare. Ones that survived whole up until now are exceedingly rare. If you like cameras and are interested in how they work, this Mitchell is a fine example of mechanical craftsmanship represented in an engineering art form. I'll say it again. If only this camera could talk. This is how to build a Mitchell NC. This is NC number 73. This is the take-up drive belt for the magazine. And the mag disc goes on here, slides into a little slot, and then there's a thumb screw in the back that holds the thumb, that ties the mag down. And then you put on the drive belt. And now we're going to do the matte box rod holder. Now the matte box rod holder has 2 pins on it and a dovetail. And the dovetail just slides onto the camera there. And the 2 pins line up. And then you tighten the thumb screw. Same kind of thumb screw that holds the magazine on and holds the matte box rods. And now we're going to do the matte box rods. You just slide them in until they stop. Tighten the thumb screw. Same with the other one. There we go. And then now we're going to put on the matte box. The matte box has one hole and one clamp. And you just slide the hole onto the left matte box rod and slide the matte box on and tighten the thumb screw. And now we're going to put on the side finder. The side finder has a dovetail on it, and it matches the dovetail in the body of the camera. And you just line up the dovetail, and matte box goes on, and you lock it. How to build a Mitchell NC. Please feel free to contact me with any questions about this camera or any other camera through my website, samdodge.com.